I'm on here doing an emergency broadcast because Premiere just deleted a whole bunch of Parfait chunky colors, which I kind of understand for some of them, and I am enraged for others. So I just did a end of year inventory. So I took every single color that I keep in stock, which is all of them. And I made sure that I had done, I have everything in stock, but I had like back stocked so that I have 2 on the shelf, 1 in the storage at all times. So that way I don't accidentally run out. And I also went through my, my most used colors, and I extra stocked those so I can make sure that I have more than enough in stock at all times. That being said, the things that I track on here is the neon colors, the Bloom Chanel, which I'm not going to go over today because it's kind of niche, and the Glitz, and the regular Parfait Chunky. So nothing changed in neon, which still irritates me because there was a acai color that they did for their limited edition that was the most beautiful, like electric purple on the planet, and for God knows what reason they don't have that under neon. The purple, the Proton purple they have under neon is pink. It is not purple, not even by any stretch of the imagination. It is pink. It is a very dark pink. Beautiful color, not purple. So would love for them to correct that injustice and actually have a purple neon. So that's just my side note, but that does play into one of the ones that was discontinued here. So I am going to skip ahead to the pink section because one, I'm like the Very Berry is a kind of a slightly darker version of the Proton Purple. So if you are looking to replace the Very Berry, the Proton Purple is brighter, and it is not purple, it is pink, but I have alternated those when I couldn't find one, when I was a little less organized. So they're different colors, but they trade out well, at least that's what I've seen. So I will get back to that in a second, but I might as well finish the pink. So as for the pink category, there were previously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I should have counted this ahead of time. There were 8 pinks. They got rid of 2. So there's 6 pinks left. They got rid of the Very Berry, which I have 4 in stock, so I'm not super worried about that right now. And the one that is my favorite, Pink Lemonade, they got rid of that. I have 3 in stock. Damn. And the other thing is it's gotten very frustrating. Like, I just combined my limited edition that I had left over in my main stock. And I was thinking about putting the neons in there as well, just because it gets confusing trying to look in different places when I'm trying to like match a color. Anyway, side note. So out of the 8, 6 are left, 2 are deleted from the pink, Very Berry, and Pink Lemonade. Discretionary note. My idea of what is considered green, blue, purple, pink, whatever, is going to vary from yours. Now, I just made some judgment calls on here because there's some things that are like, oh, it's kind of reddish, but brownish, and it's kind of yellowish, but orangish. So I just made a judgment call. So you may disagree with what category I put things in, and if you disagree, okay. We can still be friends. All right, I'm going to go back to the top. So white, in the white cream category, nothing changed. White, cream, marshmallow. Those are all the same. In the brown category, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 previously. They got rid of 1. So there's only 7 left in the brown category. They got rid of espresso. I kind of get it. Espresso for me has been kind of an accent color. I've never used a whole skein of it. And it is cool if you're making coffee, like for the espresso part, but it's like, I kind of get that one. So I will allow it. And I'm going to actually pause and count these so you don't have to sit here and watch me count. Okay, I'm back. I'll get the last one. Kind of pissed me off, to be honest. All right. Oh, I missed this. Okay. So out of the black gray category, there were previously 6, and they cut Cloudy Day, which I do use. However, I cannot tell the difference between Cloudy Day and Pale Gray when I am going to reach for them. It takes me a minute, especially if I'm like picking up on something after the fact. So part of the reason I write this down, some of these are very similar, so I can understand that one. I do prefer Cloudy Day over Pale Gray, but it's a minor difference. All right, as far as the reds go, there was 7. There is still 7. The reds are safe from their ire. And there are some reds in here that are pretty similar. So I have a real hard time distinguishing some of these. So I can't remember which one it is offhand, but there's 2 that like I cannot tell the difference. I have to like pull the tag out to tell the difference. I just might be minorly colorblind. That might be a me thing. I already went over pink. Orange, there were 7. There are still 7. Orange is safe. Yellow, there were 4. Surprisingly, there's not more shades of yellow. I guess it's just not one of the more interesting ones. There are still 4. Green. Now this is where it gets interesting. There is way too many green, or was. There was 17 green. Now this is where it gets interesting as far as like color choice goes, because there's a good handful of these that could be considered blue to some people, and I just cannot. I have lined them up and I just cannot see them as blue. I feel like they're more green facing, so I just put them under here, but there's still a lot of blue anyway, so I could be wrong, but whatever. 17, they decreased to 14, so they got rid of a chunk of green. Peacock is one of my favorite colors, and I am devastated. It's just so beautiful, so beautiful. And they got rid of that. They got rid of Lagoon and Sea Glass, which I kind of get. I kind of get those ones. And it's interesting because Sea Glass, I don't think I fully restocked it. I kept thinking I did, and I kept counting it as though I did, but it's similar to, I think, Lagoon. I think those 2 are very similar. And I kept miscounting it. So I think I don't have a full stock, being 3 skeins of Sea Glass. So whatever. That was it for those. So they dropped 3 out of the green, what I would consider green category. Blue, previously they had 10 and they got rid of 1 in the blue. Pale blue, I kind of get it. I did not use it very frequently. It was not on my big exciting list. And then finally, the category that I'm most pissed off about is purple, because I am convinced that whoever at Premier, I love Premier, I worship Premier. Premier hates the color purple. I'm pretty sure they hate the color purple. I don't use a lot of purple because I don't like the purple colors that they picked. They're not great. They're very drab, and I loved the rose. The rose, chef's kiss. Loved the rose. I liked the dusty mauve. I didn't like the haze as much as the dusty mauve. Those 2 are gone. Orchid, like the color of orchid. That's gone. Plum, I could do with less of plum. I don't like the plum. But yeah, so they got rid of half. They're keeping eggplant. They're keeping iris. They're keeping lilac. They're keeping haze. They got rid of rose, dusty mauve, orchid, and plum. So half. I mean, we need 14 green and we can only have 4 purple, and we can't bring back the super absolutely gorgeous vibrant acai purple. I mean, come on. Why do you hate purple? Why? So that makes me sad. Rose doesn't necessarily have to be under purple. That could be under like pink or red, but that's what I put it under. So yeah, so that was the big one. I will say one more time what the actual colors are that Premier has cut from the lineup. It is Espresso, Cloudy Day, Berry Berry, Pink Lemonade, Peacock, Lagoon, Sea Glass, Pale Blue, Plum, Orchid, Dusty Mauve, and Rose. And that is a grand total of, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different colors. Holy hell. That's huge. It's such a bummer too, because some of the colors I can understand. Some of the colors were very similar, and I agree, like they're too close. However, that being said, they were winning people over on having a wide variety of colors, and then they just hacked a ton of colors off. A couple that are too close, I totally get. The amount that they hacked off, like the espresso, for example, it is very dark, but there is a place for it. There is nothing else that's that dark. And so it has a place. And there's a lot of things, like, again, that's like an accent color. That's a great accent color. So yeah, it may not I may not buy it a lot or frequently. I get that. However, it is essential to make sure that you have a dynamic piece. So it's kind of it's an odd move to decrease so many in one chunk. I'm a little disappointed that they did that, especially with the purples. They just really cut. They're not thinking of it like painting. They're thinking of it. I get it. But there's I use a lot of purple for accents as well. Like, I don't use a lot of purple forward things, but I do use it for a lot of accents. So I may not go through it a lot, but it is essential to take it up to the next level. So that's very frustrating. I have heard some other brands can fill the gaps of this, but now I'm shopping from somebody else. Instead of rounding out your palette, Premier, you just hacked your palette. It's one thing to cull a little bit, but it's another thing to hack your palette. And they did. They just hacked the palette. And not for everything, but just for a lot. Glitz, everything's fine in glitz, everything's fine in neon. Although ironically, glitz has Seaside, and I think that was that cut? I don't think there is a Seaside in here. Oh, okay. Yeah, they don't have Seaside, so it doesn't match the colors. Which they don't all have to match, but everything else matches on here except for that. Do they have, am I crazy? Oh, no, they still have Seaside. Okay, ignore me. Anyway, so that's it. That is the colors that have been decimated. And I actually, if you want to stick around, I'm going to go over what colors of those that got hacked, that are gone, that I did not use a full skein of, ever. So, as much as I complain, espresso is one of them that I have never used a full skein of espresso. Cloudy Day, same thing. That was hacked or cut, and I have never used a full skein of that. And let's see what else. Very Berry, I used one full skein, and that is since I started. I started 2 years ago technically, but really like a year and a half ago is when I really started kicking up. So Very Berry, I've only used one whole skein. Pink Lemonade. Okay, I'm a little embarrassed. It is one of my favorite colors, but I have not used an entire skein ever. Pink Lemonade. I'm telling on myself right now. Peacock, I have used one full skein. And keep in mind I just started this year really going pedal to the metal, and so I've used like 13 white, like 4 teddy bear ever, like in the last year and a half, 2 years. So to use one is not a lot for me, but it is probably 2 is the more common number for me. But anyway, I digress. So on to, Peacock. Lagoon, I have used 2 Lagoon. Super sad about that because I just now realized that is the color I used for one of my K-pop Demon Hunter dolls, and it is a perfect match for Mystery's hair, and it's gone. That's a huge bummer. Bummer. Okay. Sea Glass, I used none. I have not used a whole skein. Doesn't mean I didn't use it for accents. I just have not used a whole skein. I'm telling on myself. I was enraged, and then I looked at this and I realized I am way off. Pale Blue, I never used a whole skein of Pale Blue. Never really liked Pale Blue. That's understandable. Plum, never used a whole skein of Plum. Orchid, never used a whole skein of Orchid. Dusty Mauve, I have used one whole skein of Dusty Mauve. And Rose, I have never used a whole skein of Rose. So I'm a little off on what I think I used. The Dusty Mauve I do think was for another K-Pop Demon Hunter. So that's a bummer. And so those were good K-Pop Demon Hunter colors. But yeah, so okay, maybe I'm not as upset about that. I do think it's a lot to hack. I think it's a lot to get rid of in one fell sweep, and that's a bummer. And I hope maybe that means that they're going to bring in other colors. But yeah, that's it for now. And I'm going to go cry into my yarn and hoard it until it's gone. So I went and got all of the colors that have been discontinued. I was going to just go ahead and post it, and I was like, I don't want to have to put these back, but I think I should show the colors. All right, so our recently deceased include the espresso. So here's the espresso color, and I apologize, my lighting is not great, but this is it's the only shade this dark, and honestly, I don't think it was right of them to totally hack the color palette. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so that was espresso, and then, this is Cloudy Day. And to be honest, I had a hard time distinguishing this from another one. It is a nice color, but yeah, it's, oh well. Here is the Very Berry, which I have used one whole skein of. So I accidentally kept reordering it, so I have more of that than I'll probably ever use. Here's Pink Lemonade. This is not the color that I thought it was, and again, I'm sorry, my lighting sucks, but this is kind of like a little bit orangey. It's kind of an orangey pink, and this is not what I thought it was, so I am okay with that being gone. Peacock is the one that I'm very sad about because I freaking love this color, especially for like Christmas. It's not green, it's got a little blue hue to it, but it is very beautiful and I love it. So I'm sad. This is the Sea Glass. Nope, this is Lagoon. Sorry, this is Lagoon. This one I'm pissed about because they should have had like a final sale or something. They should have advertised, like, you know, not instead of just having like discounted, because they had a bunch of discounts recently, but had they let us know going out, like, you know, whatever, clearance, something like they do with so many of their other ones, I would have bought a bunch of this. So I'm super, super irritated that they did not do like a closeout of these colors to give us an opportunity to restock. This one sucks. This one hurts. I'm very bummed, and it is what it is. Sea Glass, I honestly had a hard time finding it because it is not a particularly interesting color. So I'm okay with that one. Let's see, Pale Blue. Here's the Pale Blue. It's kind of a gray blue, and it's a pretty color, but it's not that interesting. Plum, I totally get Plum. Plum is a weird color. It's dark, but not vibrant. Orchid, I disagree with Orchid because I think it's a beautiful purple, and if there was 8 and they are now 4 purples, so I don't think they really could afford getting rid of that one. This is Dusty Mauve, and again, beautiful color. I think that they were replacing it with a haze, but the haze is brighter, and this is more of a neutral palette, so that's a bummer. And Rose, which is beautiful. There is nothing else like this, and that is a massive hit to the color palette. So that's it. This is everything that is discontinued in no particular order. These are all discontinued, and I'm big sad about it. So